Live from the KHOU 11 studios and streaming on KHOU 11 Plus, your news starts now.
Good evening, I'm Ugochi Iloka in for Cheryl Mercedes. We begin with breaking news. We've learned former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. His team says Biden was seen last week by doctors after urinary symptoms, and a prostate nodule was found and was diagnosed with prostate cancer on Friday that spread to the bone. Now, his office says it represents a more aggressive form of the disease, but the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. Biden and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. A prostate cancer surgeon at UT Health Houston spoke to me about prostate cancer in connection to former President Biden's diagnosis.
It can continue to spread to other places, other bony sites or other lymph nodes. Once it's already spread, that's certainly a risk. So it may be that somebody older than that wouldn't normally be screened anymore. And that's one way that you might be surprised later on.
Yeah, and Dr. Canfield said there's a lot of new technology they have in reference to those screenings. Now, President Trump is reacting to the news on Truth Social, saying, "Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis, and we extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe a fast and successful recovery." And former Vice President Kamala Harris also posted on social media saying, in part, "Joe is a fighter, and I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that he always has. Defined his life and leadership. We are hopeful for a full and speedy recovery." KHOU 11 was the first to show you this dramatic video this morning. Flames ripping through a Southwest Houston townhome overnight. Tonight, a grieving community is sharing heartbreak and remembering the neighbor and beloved family dog they lost. KHOU 11's Michelle Choi brings us their emotional stories.
A wall of fire, sirens, and grief on Bob White Drive. Late Saturday night, flames tore through this two-story townhome at the Tempo 3 complex as residents watched in shock.
It was huge. It was huge. It took them a minute to put it out.
As firefighters battled the blaze and searched inside, it was neighbors who sounded the alarm, warning someone hadn't made it out. Fire officials say a woman was found dead, buried under the debris inside the burned-out home.
This is devastating. This is devastating. I just want to know what caused the fire.
Felicia McGowan lives across the street. She was home with her kids when a loud pop pulled her outside.
I was scared. I was terrified. I thought it was going to blow up.
Christopher Bonney was visiting family nearby when he saw a man believed to be the woman's boyfriend running towards the flames.
He kept on trying to go back inside the unit. A lot of people said the dog was in there, so we just thought he was trying to go back and get the dog. We didn't know somebody was actually in there.
Officials confirmed the couple's dog also died, found in a crate under the stairs. 9-year-old Aiden, who lives a few doors down, often played with the dog and remembers them both.
Every time I walk past them, they say hi.
Now neighbors are mourning the woman and remembering the longtime couple who called this place home.
They was a lovely couple. They was always together, and when you saw one, you pretty much saw the other.
As arson investigators search for a cause, this community is mourning a life lost.
She was a nice lady. She's definitely going to be remembered.
In Southwest Houston, Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
So devastating there. Thanks, Michelle. 2 bedridden residents had to be rescued from a care home after a fire Saturday. This is according to the Klein Fire Department. The flames broke out at the home in the Oldie Oak subdivision in Northwest Houston. Firefighters were able to get those 2 bedridden people out of the home. One of them had to be taken to the hospital. No one else was hurt. The case of the fire is still under investigation. Tonight, the Harris County Sheriff's Office is still looking for a suspect after a man and woman were found shot to death in their home. On Friday night, deputies responded to a house in Fitzwater Drive in Spring. Troy Kless joins us there live now this evening with what he's learning. Troy, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Ugochi, well, this is the home behind me where deputies responded on Friday night. You see right now there are some flowers set up at the garage and balloons tied to the garage as well, as information about why this couple was killed is very limited. According to the sheriff's office, they responded to the home in the 4,000 block of Fitzwater in the Spring area on Friday night. Deputies found a man and woman shot to death inside, their deaths being investigated as a homicide. Now, according to deputies, the back door of the home was broken down. The sheriff's office says a neighbor reported hearing gunfire the previous night. After not hearing from the neighbor, they went to check the home and found the husband and wife dead. A motive is unclear and no suspects have been identified. And we did reach out to the sheriff's office this afternoon for more information, and we're still waiting to hear back from them. And many neighbors calling this a sad situation. We'll hear from them tonight at 10, and also we'll have a full report, including another clue as to when the shooting may have taken place. Reporting live in Spring, Troy Kless, KHOU 11 News.
Very tragic there. Thanks, Troy. Jeep weekend is coming to a close. This year is the first with strict rules on the beach and even more law enforcement presence. It's all aimed at keeping the typically rowdy beach party under control along the Bolivar Peninsula. The Galveston County Sheriff's Office says 275 people have been arrested so far. These are overwhelmingly misdemeanor charges, and deputies also say there were 42 firearms recovered. This year's crowd was much smaller than normal. Some attendees blame the new rules, including bans on golf carts, trailers, and parking on the beach, along with blocked road access. Taking a live look now on the island, thanks to our partners at Saltwater Recon. Pat, it is so hot out there. Is that what we can expect for the rest of the week?
Yes, for the most part, but there may be a little bit of relief in sight here. We are going to be off to a hot start this week, so Monday and especially Tuesday. I think Tuesday actually may be the hottest day of the entire year for some of us, but that is ahead of some humidity relief that comes in at least for the middle of the week. Live look out towards downtown right now. We got to 92 today, so really not that bad, only a couple degrees above normal. Our record for today, 95, so pretty much in the middle of the normal and the record. The wake-up temperatures, though, is just brutal. 81 degrees this morning. That is a product of that very high humidity, and that will stay with us at least for another 2 days before some changes possibly arrive getting into Wednesday. Sunset tonight at 8:10. Numbers right now, mid to upper 80s for everyone. Actually, no one is in the 90s right now, so there's some relief. Unfortunately, dew points, though, are very high, marking that high humidity. So we start off the week on a hot note. There is little relief on the way in terms of temperature. I think more substantial relief for humidity, although it will be brief. And then as we go through the rest of the week, I mean, conditions just look to stay dry. So even though we get a big drop in humidity for a short period of time, we're not really expecting much in the way of rain chances to accompany that. It's been breezy today. Winds coming in from the south sustained between 10 and 20 miles per hour. We've had gusts, though, so far 20, 25, 30 miles per hour today. I think we'll hang on to that blustery weather as we get into tomorrow as well. A couple of showers have tried to get going as well, mainly north of the city. We haven't seen anything within Harris County so far. A couple hit or miss showers, nothing significant though. Any stormy weather has stayed to the north up towards the Metroplex and then back towards the Abilene area, but that's pretty much the way things have been so far today. As we go through the overnight, we stay very humid and warm. Getting into the day tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. It's hot and muggy, but watch this. We're watching a cold front that'll be diving out of Colorado for tomorrow. That comes into the panhandle and eventually will try to catch up to us as we get into Tuesday. And that will be what drops our humidity, not so much our temperatures, but our humidity as we get into the middle of the week. The good news, though, we don't really have to worry about storm chances. Big severe threat here across the Front Range, getting into the Great Plains for this evening. As we get into tomorrow, that threat will start to shift a little bit towards the east. Notice, though, it does come south a little bit into North Texas, down into Central Texas, but it stays away from us. Then even into Tuesday, that threat kind of jumps over towards the east, missing us altogether. Our rain chances are going to be very isolated, if anything. Getting into your Monday, it's a mix of sun and clouds. There are your storm chances up towards the Metroplex getting into the evening. And then for Tuesday, notice the morning hours start off with a lot of cloud cover, a lot of humidity, and maybe an isolated shower chance. That's 8 a.m. That front tries to push through, starts to kind of wash out as it goes through the area. But I really think our storm chances stay close to nothing, only about a 20% chance for the day on Tuesday. So again, not much in terms of rain chances to accompany this front. The humidity, though, will go from extremely high down into at least the moderate category for Tuesday night into Wednesday. It's a very brief drop in your humidity, but it will be noticeable, especially with those overnight temperatures. We go from morning temperatures near 80 the next 2 days down to the 60s by Wednesday morning, and then back into the mid and upper 70s as we get into the end of the week and the weekend. So a little bit of relief on the way in terms of those overnight temperatures. Tonight, not so much. A lot of humidity, very warm, 78 your low. We're up to 93 then for your Monday with a mix of sun and clouds. There's that 7-day forecast. We could make a run at 100 degrees on Tuesday. As that front comes in, if we get that timing right with the little humidity drop, with some sunshine, I mean, if everything comes together, KHOU, we could be pushing 100 in a couple of spots. Then down to 92 on Wednesday. So again, not really much of a temperature drop here. It's the overnight lows that we see that big drop. But it doesn't last. We're back to the overnight temperatures in the mid 70s again, with humidity returning by Thursday, for Friday, and into the weekend. So all in all, it looks like we're locked into this pattern, which is a very short window of relief with lower humidity as we get into Wednesday.
So that relief of humidity might not last long. Sounds
not
like
much.
It.
Enjoy it.
Thanks, Pat. Today marks 7 years since the massacre at Santa Fe High School, and a permanent memorial honoring the 10 killed is a step closer to reality. A general contractor has been selected, and the foundation planning the memorial says it's still working to secure funding, but expects construction to be completed as early as May 18th of 2026. Today's announcement is just ahead of tomorrow's run in remembrance at Jack Brooks Park. This evening, authorities have increased the reward for information leading to the arrest of the 7 remaining inmates who escaped from a New Orleans jail. Video shows the 10 inmates, as you can see there, leaving their cells, and officials say they went through a door used to bring in supplies. Then they scaled a wall and ran across the interstate. 3 inmates have been captured, but 7 are still on the run. The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward, bringing the total up reward money to $17,000. Now, investigators say they have active leads. The FBI says the man suspected of targeting a California fertility clinic died in the explosion. Investigators have searched his home and are now reviewing writings he left behind. The FBI says the man was 25-year-old Guy Edward Barticus of California. Now, a U.S. attorney in Los Angeles described his writings as anti-pro-life. Other law enforcement sources saying Barticus was against bringing people into the world against their will. Now, the attack is now the largest bombing scene ever in Southern California.
And just for reference, to throw pieces of vehicle hundreds of feet in the air and then several blocks away, you can use your imagine how big that bomb device was.
Yeah, huge there. Now, the blast could be felt from more than a mile away. 4 people were hurt, but they have all been released, thankfully, from the hospital. 2 people are dead and 19 others hurt after a Mexican Navy training ship struck the bottom of the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City. There were nearly 300 people on board at the time of the crash for a global goodwill tour, and the boat was heading to Iceland. Now, investigators now say the ship lost power, then hit the bridge, and sources report the ship was moving in the wrong direction, possibly being carried by the swift currents of the East River. Now a look at today's other top stories. A Houston police officer is recovering after being hit during a traffic stop. This happened around 1:15 this morning on Maxey Road in East Houston. Police say the officer was detaining a driver in a suspected stolen car when another vehicle slammed into them. Now the officer dove into the car to avoid being hit, but was struck in the leg. That officer has minor injuries and is expected to be okay. Now, investigators are working to determine if the other driver was impaired. Right now, Houston police are searching for the suspect who shot 2 people on Jensen Drive, just north of 610. This happened just after 10 p.m. last night. A 21-year-old woman and 19-year-old man were both shot. Their injuries are not life-threatening. There is no information on any suspects right now. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Rome Sunday. Now, this comes a day before President Trump is expected to place an important phone call to Russia in effort to end the war. CBS News' Willie James Inman has more.
The House Budget Committee will meet late Sunday to try to move President Trump's domestic policy bill towards a floor vote. This comes after 5 Republicans blocked the measure on Friday, saying the bill does not go far enough to reduce spending.
We have to deliver on extending the tax cuts, but getting also the spending cuts necessary to get deficits down.
The 5 Republicans voted with all Democrats against the GOP proposal, which includes $880 billion in cuts to social programs. Republicans hope to win approval of the legislation before the Memorial Day recess. Earlier on Sunday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Rome to discuss a potential end to Russia's war with Ukraine. The men were on hand for Pope Leo's Mass at the Vatican. This comes as President Trump is expected to speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin, reportedly to encourage a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine.
We don't have time to waste, so we don't want to be involved in this process of just endless talks. There has to be some progress, some movement forward. Ultimately, one of the things that could help break this logjam, perhaps the only thing that can, is a direct conversation between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. And he's already openly expressed a desire and a belief that that needs to happen.
The president is expected to speak with President Putin at 10 a.m. Eastern Monday morning. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
Thanks, Willie. A special celebration in Houston today for a local veteran turning 101 years old. Today, family and friends gathered at New Life Tabernacle Church to honor Roosevelt Johnson, but pretty much everyone in his life just calls him Dad Johnson. He was born in 1924 and is the oldest of 9. He owned his own electrical company before retiring in 1995. As for what helped him to live this long, Johnson's children say he never drank or smoked, and he raised his family in the church. His official birthday is on Thursday, and this is what he had to say about longevity.
22nd of this month, I'll be 101. Well, ain't for one thing I can say that a person treat everybody right. If you treat people right, you'll be blessed.
Ooh, he looks so good. I can't believe he's 101. He and his wife have been married for 81 years, and she's turning 95 this year. They raised 9 children and have 54 grandchildren. Woo! 65 great-grandchildren and 7 great-great-grandchildren. For his birthday, Dad Johnson plans to do his favorite thing. He's going fishing in Memphis. Pat, that's incredible.
We were just talking as he was speaking. It looks like he's 85 years old.
Amazing.
101's the new 85. There you go.
I know, that's right. Anything with final weather?
No, it's going to be hot. That's it.
It's going to be hot. Be ready for it. Stay hydrated. Thanks for joining us on KHOU 11 News. We'll have more coming up at 10 tonight, but you can stream us anytime on KHOU 11 Plus. Just download on your TV and watch for free.